The Rock, Stone Cold, Hogan, and Vince.
AJ Styles, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, The Rock.
I'm gonna say Rock, Austin, Hogan, and John Cena.
Me, my wife, Maurice, Monroe, and Madison.
Vince McMahon, Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin, Dwayne Johnson.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. This is Maximum Wrestling World Order, and today's a special one. Really, we're not going to review a pay-per-view or anything like that, but we are going to cause controversy. And as always, my controversial wingman is here with me.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning.
It is a good morning.
Well, it's good afternoon.
Good morning. Not particularly for that famous monument of Jefferson, Roosevelt, Lincoln, and the other guy, George Washington, because they're about to get pulled down and the thing's about to get chiseled. Mount Rushmore becomes Mount Wrestlemore.
Mount Wrestlemore, the four best. Well, I don't know if you class it as the best, because in some people's eyes, therefore, might not be the best in other people's eyes, but the four best professional wrestlers to have ever graced the world that is professional wrestling. So
well, they don't need to be wrestlers, do they? You know what I mean? As I seen in one of them, Virgil. You know what I mean? He'd fit in perfectly in today's world, wouldn't he?
Oh, they could just be divas. We could have Tori Wilson, Kelly.
Slept her way to the top.
Just a bit.
She was born in Washington.
So, Mount Wrestlemore then. Kick things off firstly, Dave. You give me your four and explain your reasons why, which I will happily argue against.
Oh my God, you can't even argue, right? Well, you can with one, and I know people will with one. Like this for me is truly wrestling related, business related, and
Hornswoggle.
I'm a fuck off. And rightfully, I'm a fan of every single one. I'm going to start with who I believe is the greatest of all time and always will be, Eddie Guerrero.
Yes.
I'm going to follow up with his best friend. It's controversial, but it's not. Because I'm following wrestling. Chris Benoit.
You can't put a scumbag on Mount Wrestlemore. As much as I agree with you, like we've just spoke about this in depth off air. As much as I agree, Benoit as an athlete, as a professional wrestler, up to the point where he became a scumbag. And you can't put a scumbag on. I'm not having it. He can't go on. He
can't put Vince McMahon up there then.
He can bit rubble. He can bit rubble on the floor.
Yeah.
But if he'd not done what he did, 100%, because you don't know where his career would have gone from 2007 to the present day. But from his career up to 2007, absolutely. But
like
2007,
I'm treating it wrestling.
Nah, not having it. He's not going on there.
He's the best wrestler. He was one of the best wrestlers on the planet.
I can't disagree.
Me and you are similar to a degree.
I can't disagree.
You like the funny fucked up shit, but we both like to appreciate wrestling.
Oh, he was a brilliant wrestler,
and we use that too. If I wasn't going to go for Benoit, he would have been replaced by Kane for me.
Oh, now Kane's a shout.
Because I believe a bad blood, he changed the game.
Absolutely.
It's all well and good people saying, you know what I mean, all these other ones which we'll discuss. But there was all these big guys roaming around, some were fucking terrible, like Giant Gonzalez and all these other fucking catastrophes. But that man came in with Paul Bearer, the fucking entrance blacked out with the red dim. And he looked fucking menacing. And people wouldn't have believed that was Glenn Jacobs the dentist,
Isaac Yankem.
that same guy, he walked with a purpose, and it continued. It continued. You know, them things in the WWE aren't meant to last, but they did because it was a different era. They were different fans. Do you know what? I'm going to take Benoit off and I'm putting Kane up.
Oh, Kane's a great shout because for longevity as well with Kane. Like as you mentioned,
it's taken freaking territory, innit? Right. Okay. Then we're gonna have Jake the Snake Roberts.
Oh yes, we do like a bit of the Snake Man.
Psychology.
We're not talking
Master of the DDT.
We're not talking 96 Snake, though, are we?
Oh fuck no. No. We're talking that man that waited backstage for Macho Man Randy Savage, and the one person that stopped him from fucking ruining Savage's face with that chair was Undertaker.
Absolutely.
Fucking amazing, Jake the Snake Roberts, man.
It was.
And last but not least, I can hear your heart pumping. William Regal.
One of the greatest,
Regal,
if not the greatest,
massively
English wrestler.
Underrated.
Absolutely.
Underrated.
Like I said, if not the greatest English wrestler that's ever come from these shows, gone over there, and he's faced so many like adversities in his career as well. So many knockbacks. Sometimes a lot of them to his own fucking fault half the time with his drugs and stuff. But able to rise above that time and time again and still produce, like, if you go through his from like early 2000s with his stuff with Chris Jericho, some of the hilarious comedy acts, his stuff with Tajiri, his stuff with Eugene, even though Eugene was a fucking bell, but even stuff with Eugene, the comedy side of Regal.
That interruption of Triple H.
Oh, mate.
Was fucking monumental.
Mate. I'm going to go back there, change into my wrestling attire, and come out here and battle you with every ounce of violent venom that runs through my veins.
Fucking amazing.
It's a brilliant promo.
That young boy in. It was me, Sunshine. Fucking amazing.
Yeah, we've only just recently covered that over on our era. We're building up to Unforgiven 04 at the minute, so the last like month or so, I watched that and I always remember watching it. It was only like I said, a couple of months ago, watching it, and then all of a sudden it clicked in my mind that this is that promo, and I got chills, and what a great promo. And that's it. As much as the comedy side of Regal, you've also got the intensity, and there ain't no one that when he wants to turn it on. Regal's amazing. And his wrestling mind as well. Look what he does now with his backstage work with NXT, with all the Performance Centre, with the young up-and-comers and stuff
amazing.
like that.
He's amazing.
He's brilliant.
I kind of look at it, right? And I think when Vincent Kennedy McMahon decides to fuck off and do what's right for the business, I'd like to think that Triple H hires him as his right-hand man.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see how anyone else could... Do you know what I mean? Have so much love and dedication for the business and want what's right for it.
Yeah.
Other than... That's why he's still there.
That's it.
That's why he's still there.
That's why they've...
You know?
Like I said a bit ago, all these adversities, all these drug offences and stuff like that, he's still around. And there's a reason why he's still around.
Yeah. He's a business mind, and he's so good at it.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So Regal's definitely on there.
100%.
100%. So do you want to hear mine then? So, right, well, this is my issue because I feel like I might have to get builders in and add a few more mounds to Mount Wrestlemore. I'm definitely going with Regal for every reason that we've just spoke about. Now, it's a toss-up between Owen and Brett because they were both brilliant in different ways. Yeah. Especially for me growing up as a kid.
We have covered this. We have covered this, people, and it's an hard one, isn't it? It's so difficult because I will always argue that for me, Bret Hart wasn't as good as he thought he was.
Oh,
Owen
absolutely.
Hart for me was head and shoulders. It was just Bret was such a big name. And he built that name for himself that very much like Matt Hardy was pushed to the back and there was always that shadow that either brother couldn't step out of. Hell, even Davey Boy Smith, you know, they had that great match, him and Brett, and even then, even after Davey Boy had took the Intercontinental title, he was still very much in Brett's shadow.
Yeah.
You know, it was, you know, even when you listen to Son of Stuart, Brett's name was a little bit louder than Owen's.
Well, Brett, it was a lot like, going back to what you said about his name, it was a lot more marketable than Owen was.
Yeah.
He was the guy they pushed at the front of this new generation, the pink and black attack and all the bright coloured era of WWE, where, like I said with Owen, he had to become a bastard to really push himself, because as a face of just being Brett's brother, that's all he would have ever been, just Brett's little brother. Mm-hmm. For him turning the heel and having his own run with the King of Hearts and winning the King of Ring and all that stuff, and then them reconciling and coming back together in like '97 with the Hart Foundation, and then obviously Brett going, and then one of Owen, for me, one of the most underrated feuds, when he first came back after the Montreal Screwjob, where he appeared through the crowd and attacked Shawn Michaels, and he's like, I'm going to make Shawn Michaels' life a living hell. And it kind of just soured, because the fans were sort of, it was weird because he was supposed to be a face, but Owen for me never got over as a face. Owen was best when he was a bastard. Yeah. That was it.
I agree with that.
It was never going to work.
The guy was a superior heel.
Yes. And his in-ring work, second to none for that era. Do you know what I mean? He were doing backflips and all sorts of stuff and hurricanranas when nobody would do, not especially on WWE TV. Nobody was WWF TV even. Nobody was doing that.
I just think that with Brett, and like I say, a lot of people are going to listen to this, and a lot of people are going to go, "Oh no, Bret Hart's the greatest. There was, there never will be." Nah, I disagree. I do disagree, and one of the main reasons I disagree was Bret had a hell of a push as a tag team wrestler, and when you look at his singles moveset, it wasn't any different to what he did as a tag team wrestler. I don't think. I really think that when back in like the 90s, early 90s, going through into that horrible debut on WCW, it was a lot more wrestling and less entertainment.
Oh yeah.
So your focus was constantly on chain wrestling, and Bret was very good at it. But as we know, you're as good as the people that speak up for you. And there was a lot of high tier people, Bobby Heenan, Gorilla Monsoon, Jim Ross, Jerry Lawler, all these people. As soon as they sung your name as the best there is, the best there was, best there ever will be, Bret Hart, that's it. It was cemented, and I still believe today, the Montreal Screwjob was not much of a screw job, because they created a martyr.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They created a martyr.
Absolutely.
Vincent Kennedy McMahon became possibly the greatest heel in the business, but at the same time, Bret, it gave people more of a, more power to go, he's the greatest wrestler that ever lived. Nah, I disagree with you. For me, Owen Hart, superior.
I think for me, where it differs a little bit between Owen and Bret with their in-ring style, going back to what you said about with the chain wrestling, that was something that Owen for me always excelled at. And also, Bret, if you watch one of Bret's matches, it's the same formula. It's very much the John Cena 5 moves of doom. He'll always do the same set of moves. He'll always do the elbow off the middle rope. You know what I mean? He'll always do that, where Owen, sometimes you never knew what he were going to pull out. He didn't have this generic set of moves where he could always do something, depending on who we're fighting. He could kind of change his style a little bit to suit whoever he was wrestling against.
He was capable of it.
Yeah.
He was capable of it. I need to be capable in this era as well.
Oh, absolutely. The matches that Owen could have had against like AJ Styles.
Exactly. I like to think that, you know, when that style was invented, what Owen was doing was very, very. I would like to say dedicated to lucha libre and things like that, but like you say, that guy's he was so mixed in, you know, his old just moveset.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree.
He was built for stand up. He was built for mat wrestling. He was built for submission. The guy was just. He was so underrated.
Totally agree. Couldn't agree more. So Regal, Owen, for me, they're definitely on there. I have to agree with you on Eddie Guerrero, but also it's a toss up between Eddie Guerrero and Kurt Angle. Because for me, Kurt Angle, for someone that came into the business, picked it up straight away and ran with it.
Kurt Angle, right? Kurt Angle. When you watch Kurt Angle shouldn't have survived.
No, not in a fucking million years.
Kurt Angle in that era, when he came out with that stupid damn haircut, and you know, stood in that ring at the I think it was Royal Rumble, was Taz's debut.
Yeah, that was Taz's debut, yeah. Kurt Angle's debut was, you know, Survivor Series before against fucking Sean Stasiak.
You know, open challenge, you know, find your 3 eyes. You know, and you know, Taz made his debut. And even then, when you were watching that, I mean, he was getting thrown around like a rag doll, but because obviously Taz, known as the human suplex machine, they had to showcase Taz as that. But that guy, Angle, he just didn't lose. He was just... He got better. And better.
Yeah.
And better.
Every match.
He was never one of these guys that kind of like... You know, guys that kind of... John fucking Cena, I'm going to say. You know how much I love John Cena. John Cena did something when he came in. You know, the Ruthless Aggression era. I was all for it. The Chain Gang. And John Cena was very, very talented.
Does John Cena deserve to be on Mount Wrestlemore?
Not a fucking sniff.
Of course he does.
Not a fucking sniff.
Of course he does. The stuff he's done for WWE. Of course he does.
In a million years. Silver spoon-fed fucking monkey. He's a fucking idiot. You know, if that guy can get 17, you know, 17 world titles, you know, and even to think that it was acceptable for him to break Ric Flair's record is a disgrace. The only people, right, that should be able to break Ric Flair's record are Randy Orton,
Triple H,
yeah, and for me,
Roman Reigns.
Fuck no.
Ooh-ah!
We've just mentioned his name, and Kurt Angle,
Yeah.
right? When you look at a world title, dude, and it says and it looks like the WCW heavyweight title, right? I look at world titles, right? The only prestigious one that WWE had was the Winged Eagle, right? Mm-hmm. In my opinion, you know, when you look at a world title, it's got a gold thing about it, and it screams, "I'm the man." WCW's title did that.
Oh, the big gold belt,
right?
Definitely.
Yeah, fuck, it was amazing. And the United States, the Intercontinental title in the 90s. Was the world title, in my opinion. It had more prestige about it. It was just that it was high profile.
Mm-hmm.
It was high profile. You couldn't argue that. You know? But to think that John Cena, right, 2002, am I right, made his debut?
2002, yeah.
2002. And he hasn't even been in the business 20 years yet. And you're going to tell me, and anyone's going to tell me, that guy, when you look at his world titles, dude, that's an average of a world title a year.
Oh, yes, because he's the fucking man, and he deserves to be on Mount Wrestlemore.
Never in a million years, dude. You put him up there, and I'll fucking put a stick of dynamite and I'll blow the fuck up. Never in a million years.
So,
especially when you're talking to me about possibly taking Eddie Guerrero down, not a fucking chance.
But so, for me, like I said, it's a toss-up between Eddie and Angle.
It's hard, dude. It is. It's hard because I like to think the impact Eddie had on the business, and I like to think, through Eddie's struggles, he's there, and then in 2004 at No Way Out, he made history. And let's be fucking honest, dude, he didn't just make history to himself. He had me bawling in tears. That moment was significant. But
if you put that against
significant,
then that's
Angle.
That's it. Someone that broke into the business very, very, very
with a freaking broken neck.
With a broken freaking neck, and with a very quick time, he'd picked up all the major belts, bar the tag belts, in space of a year.
He was just good, dude.
He was an integral part of the Invasion storyline.
Transition, yeah, of course he was.
The stuff you had with
Jimmy Craigthorne, I don't care.
The stuff with Austin and McMahon.
Gold.
The stuff with McMahon and Austin, piss funny, and then he gets serious. You get your wrestling machine Angle. Not forgetting his stuff with Shane McMahon, his stuff with Edge. There's so many. For me, Angle wins over Eddie because there's so many iconic feuds.
I should know this, dude. But was it King of the Ring where Shane and Angle had that?
King of the Ring 2001, I want to say.
Fuck me. I'm going to fucking try. I'm going to put you through this glass.
And we'll do it again.
It's going to fail.
And we'll do it again.
I'm gonna do it again. Wow, it will break.
I promise you.
Wow.
I know. Have you seen it was on one of the WWE 24s. May have been Kurt Angle's where Shane talks about it. And he's saying how they were both fucked up. we both determined, this time I'm just going to launch her because the windows aren't breaking with the fucking belly-to-belly suplexes. So then he just hurls him through a fucking crash. He comes through it. And there's glass everywhere. Because, the first couple of windows were legit windows. And I think the one that he threw him through wasn't the fucking fake window. It was a legit window. I may be wrong there, but they were covered in cuts. Oh, man. But like I said, for me, Angle wins over Eddie. But yeah, Eddie had the magic moments of the early 2004 at No Way Out and stuff. But I think iconic feuds and just memories that you can look back on Angle.
Yeah, I think I kind of got to
Angle has to win.
I think always on my personal Rushmore.
Yeah.
He's always going to be there over Angle, just based on the love that I've got for him. But from a professional business sense of people that changed opinions, changed the business, made it one, inspired the way people wrestle today and the way the business is structured. I think Angle.
Yeah.
I think Angle.
Definitely.
And then Angle goes up there now, but could be taken down. They can change. They're solid there at the minute.
Just don't kill.
Solid there at the minute.
Don't kill your Mrs. Angle. Then you're up there. That was a horrible joke. Final spot. Final spot. Right. For me, this is where, on my personal mountain, it's Triple H. Because for what he's done, throughout history, he's been a mainstay. But again, you can look at the John Cena effect with him, where in 2003, when the Burial Express was fucking running through Raw and no couldn't beat Triple H. Was that entertaining? Do you know what I mean? Is that an iconic storyline? No, it was just Triple H beating somebody else. But the stuff that he did, before that, after that, during even his authority stuff, I enjoyed. What he's done now for the future of the WWE. He's been integral in making sure that WWE carries on and carries on and carries on with the future of wrestling by always looking for the best wrestlers and building the performance centre and making sure not only do the future of the WWE have the best healthcare, but well, to an extent, but the best equipment and the best, you know what I mean? And just the best facilities. And you can't find a better place to learn how to be a wrestler than a performance centre. And that's all down to Triple H. The stuff he's done in ring, is an out of ring, has been iconic. But that's from a personal standpoint. I believe there is better people out there that deserve to be that fourth spot. And for me, it's a toss-up between one of three. It's Rock, Austin, or Hogan. Because Hogan made wrestling what it is today because everybody who's my age grew up a Hulkamaniac or a fan of the Ultimate Warrior. And
you know my opinion on that.
And there is no way on earth Ultimate Warrior goes on that because he's a scumbag.
I don't like Ultimate Warrior.
It was a prick.
I've always said that. Warrior was overrated.
Warrior was a prick.
Warrior was just built on adrenaline, but the guy's ego was fucking massive.
Ah, yeah.
And he didn't like anyone else to succeed in the business. Even when they brought him back, he was still talking about himself, that it was all about fucking fuck that.
Yeah.
I'm not a Warrior guy, but I'm not an Hogan guy either.
No, that's the thing. I was, like I said, I grew up as a Hulkamaniac, but this isn't opinion from me being 10 years old. Don't get me wrong, I still pop when Hogan makes his return.
Yeah.
But I
It's hard not to.
I don't pop as much as either Austin or Rock make their return because I think for me growing up as a teenager, Austin and Rock had a lot more influence in me falling in love with wrestling than Hogan ever did. Hogan for me was all about action figures and merchandise and bandanas and say your prayers, take your vitamins, and all that. Where
you know what's funny, right, dude? Right, I said this to the missus the other day. We sat there, right, and I've had a Viking sleeve done on me, a tattoo done, right. And when I started having my Viking tattoo done, I had to have things like my arm measured and just to see how much the tattoo was going to cost.
you have 24-inch pythons.
Dude, 22 and a half, right? 22 and a half. So we sat downstairs, and I go to her and I say, listen, Hogan's full of shit. She went, what do you mean Hogan's full of shit? As it says he got 24-inch pythons when he was back in the day. I said, what the fucking hell did he measure them with? I said, them things are huge. I said, my arms aren't 2 inches thick, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Never in a million years.
Especially like late 80s, early 90s Hogan when he was proper juiced up to the nines.
It was like Vince McMahon went to him, Hulk, we need your arms to have a number. What do you mean, Vince? You need to express how big your arms are because they're fucking huge. 24-inch pythons. 24-inch pythons it is. Now you look at it and you go, look at the size of Lesnar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hulk, you're a pussy. Why? Because you got 24-inch. You got baby arms.
So Hogan. So we're definitely in agreement. Hogan, as much as he had a lot. I mean, he's the reason why wrestling is wrestling to an extent. But Hogan's...
What is he, dude?
Hogan's a bit of a scumbag as well, though.
You know, is he? Is he any more important? Is he any more important than Macho Man Randy Savage?
Yeah, I'd say yes because of how he was portrayed back in the 80s. Hogan was all... Hogan...
Yeah, it's the ultimate baby face, wasn't he?
Yeah. It's the same with Bret. Hogan was the...
He couldn't wrestle for shit.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Not in the fucking slightest. No. You went through the motions with Hogan, but that was the excitement as well. As a kid, watching Hogan get beat up by some foreigner, and then all of a sudden, he starts hulking up and coming back, and he goes, you, and big boot, and it's like, yeah! And everyone did the poses afterwards and all that. Fucking brilliant. But it doesn't, for me, like I said, the fourth spot is a toss-up between Austin and The Rock. And I think if you're going to take it as the face of the company during the Attitude Era, Austin's face was fucking everywhere.
I want to put the Iron Sheik up there.
Fucking bullshit!
Fucking bullshit.
Yeah, so for me, I'm voting for Austin to take the fourth spot and final spot. The Rock was amazing. Don't get me wrong. The Rock was fucking brilliant, but
Dude,
it was always
the thing I like
Austin and
about
The Rock.
Austin-
It was never
The
Rock
thing
and
I
Austin.
like about Austin, right, is, and the thing I think I respect most was studying Steve Austin with one half of the beautiful blondes didn't lie down and say, okay, I'm going to take my money and I'm just going to be a tag team wrestler or a television title contender, you know, or a United States contender. No, fuck that. I'm not happy here. I'm going to ask for my release and I'm going to go. So he goes over to ECW, one half of Paul, and he basically takes the piss out of every freaking wrestler on every brand there is.
Welcome back to Monday Night NyQuil.
You know, I just, you've got, and then lo and behold, he makes his debut as Ted DiBiase's
Ringmaster.
ringmaster with the $1 million title. A short time after that, didn't last long. They just went, you know what? Let's let him be himself, and boom. The hair was completely shaved. And this thing was born, glass shattering. You know, that famous, he rewrote the Bible. Stone Cold 360 says I just whipped your ass.
Absolutely.
Unfucking believable. You know, to the most simple word in the world, what?
Ah, fuck off, no. No, not having it. The what thing used to do my fucking head in.
I love it.
Not having
I
it.
love it.
No, that ruined.
And
there were two things for me that ruined Austin: him turning heel, siding with Vince, and the what stuff, because you didn't get a Stone Cold promo with intensity and aggression anymore. You got him playing up to the crowd, going what.
I loved
Fuck
them
it,
both,
no.
dude. I loved them both. The heel turn with Vince.
No.
And everything. I
No.
thought it was amazing.
No.
The watch.
The
I
heel
love
turn,
the watch.
the heel turn could have been amazing. Like the 2-man power trip with Triple H, that was.
Oh
some
man,
of
the
his
power
best
trip
work.
was awesome.
But then when he started fucking hugging Vince and that bullshit and all that, everything, it was weird because everything that we spoke about when we mentioned Kurt Angle, everything I loved about Angle in this angle with Austin and McMahon, I hated about Austin because.
I loved the hugging of Vince.
No.
I thought it was fantastic.
That's
it was
not
kinda
Stone
like,
Cold.
you know, you trust me, don't you, Vince? You trust me? Do you trust me? That fucking famous invasion. And putting his arm around freaking Hugh Morris.
I think
Trust me, Hugh.
for me, the turning point of that was when they wanted the old Stone Cold. Like, we got the kind of the return of the glass shattering, arse kicking bastard that was Stone Cold with when Vince was trying to get him to come back to fight the invasion. And he's at the bar, and we see Vince approach him at the bar, and he's like, I don't want the hugging Stone Cold. I want the old Stone Cold. And right at the end of the show, all the invasion WCW, ECW wrestlers, they're overpowering 10-1 WWE wrestlers, and all of a sudden you see this car pull up, Austin still with the pull cue from the pub, starts kicking ass and batters every single fucking member of the fucking alliance. Oh mate. And it was like, yeah, the old Stone Cold's back, and that was brilliant. Again, I think
Jim Ross marking out.
Oh, yeah. I think that's one of the things that always helped Austin. That JR, he marked out for a lot of people, but JR marked the fuck out when it comes to Stone Cold. He loved Stone Cold. Off
I
screen.
just feel sorry for fucking Jim Ross with the failed fucking Steve Williams Dr. Death thing.
Yeah.
That was so fucking, Fall Brawl fucked everything up. I was pissing myself laughing, dude, the other night at that episode of The Dark Side of the Ring.
Oh, with the brawl for all.
Jim Cornette is fucking wanting to kill Russo.
Oh, he
hated him.
He despises Russo.
Despised him. I was like, oh my god, dude. I was proper shocked, like, watching that. Because I was kind of like, there's got to be a certain sense of exaggeration and obviously dickhead Meltzer and things like that, And I'm like, I'm literally looking at Cornette, and Cornette, he was just like, I wanted to choke him around the fucking neck.
Oh, I fucking hate.
My
He hates Russo. There's been multiple times where he said on multiple podcasts and stuff where, oh, if he got him Russo alone in a room together, he'd be happily pull a gun out and shoot him. Well, there's the episode, I believe it's I can't think which episode it is of The Dark Side of the Ring, where he says to the camera, he goes, wrestling's the most important thing that's ever happened to me in my life. It's like, Cornette is wrestling. He's through and through, and he fucking despises. Right, so, you bring us back into the Wrestlemore. Are we going to Austin over The Rock?
It's got to be Austin.
So,
just, you know what? A certain part of me look. There was only like I think when I look at his career, The Rock, right? There was only a certain patch of that career I can actually look at and go, yeah, I fucking loved it. And that was the Nation of Domination.
I was a fan of the corporation stuff, heel Rock. I must say I was.
Yeah, with the feud with Mankind.
The thing is with The Rock,
the older he got, I just think it phased. It kind of faded out.
For me, the thing is with The Rock was that if you think he made his debut in '96 and it was gone by 03.
Yeah.
That was it. Very short, but impactful. Massively impactful.
Well, you got to think, haven't you? Would that Rock have been able to sustain that character for this long without fucking going away, coming back? Do you know what I mean? I mean, there's one thing about that guy that he does, and it is electrifying. It's no fucking pun intended. When that guy's entrance, when he comes out, you feel it.
Oh yes.
Very much like Taker, very much like Austin. Only a few people can do that. And I'm going to say another one was Edge.
Yes.
You know, if you people don't get that, then you didn't see his return at the Royal Rumble when he was like 6 or 7 months ahead of schedule. Okay, he was a bit tubby. And then that return, just that nobody's seen coming.
The return this year.
No one's seen that coming.
Absolutely.
Why can't WWE do that? If WWE stuck to the rule book and didn't say shit and didn't let shit get out, like, okay, we're a bit short on money, we need to book Lesnar. Tell everyone Lesnar's coming in 5 weeks. Do you know what I mean? You can't have nice things anymore.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. So, shall we run through then a few other names, because we posted this in the Facebook group. Run through a few of the other suggestions that people offered to be on there. So, $1 Million Man.
I love Ted DiBiase.
I think for me growing up, Ted, he was the bastard heel that was fighting against Hogan and all the other faces on WWE TV.
He was so underrated.
I think for me though, with Ted DiBiase, I kind of caught him at the later ends of his career. One of my first pay-per-views I ever watched was Royal Rumble 1990, and then obviously by '94, Ted DiBiase was doing commentary and he wasn't an active competitor anymore. So I didn't see. I think if I would have been brought up with early 80s Ted DiBiase, because I've seen a lot of it now.
Same with me.
And if you go back and watch a lot of his wrestling, some of his in-ring work's brilliant. He plays the heel role perfectly. But yeah, I remember more Ted DiBiase with being in Money Inc. and running the $1 Million Corporation.
I think that guy, what they should have always done, I think, was have him as DiBiase Jr.'s manager.
Well, I always thought that was the angle they were going to go at, because like when they introduced him in the when it was the tag match with Cody and Thurman, and they introduced him, and I thought that he's going to be at least the manager for Priceless of Ted DiBiase and Cody Rhodes, but no.
I just always thought that the guy had a knack for talking.
His promo skills are second to none.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah.
You know, his ability in ring wasn't bad. I mean, he had a kind of like a streak about him. He could just turn it on. Very, very underrated guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
So another one then that got offered, Bruno Sammartino.
See, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say I'm a little too young. I've seen a couple of his matches, but I'm fully aware of how good he was.
Yeah, he was the man in WWE. But again, is this not the Bret Hart syndrome, where just because you're pushed as the man doesn't mean you were the man?
You are the man. Yeah, exactly. Well, it's the situation of, it's almost kind of like longevity, commitment pays off, and then look what happened after. Same thing happened with Sammartino. He fell out with the boss over, you know, and same with Brett. You know, you need that pro baby face.
Yeah, you need a man. You need the man.
They tick the boxes. You know, like I said, I'm a little too young to kind of talk on the Sammartino thing, because I would have had to have fucking lived 20 years of Sammartino's career for me to say he's the man. And there's clearly people out there that are qualified to say that.
Absolutely.
You know, but was he any more the man than Austin's the man? I don't know. That's like fucking fantasy book.
I'm the same.
That's another fucking episode.
I'm the same. Another name. This one. It kind of you'd never think of adding it on your own, but then when somebody does, you think, oh, I can understand why you have. Goldust.
Do you know what? I love Goldust. I love Dustin Rhodes. Speaking of Rhodes, they've got the name back.
Oh, have they?
Yeah.
Oh well.
It's gone back. Yeah, so
Blonde hair's come back and all, hasn't it?
that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing. You know what I mean? To have someone own your fucking family name, for me, is disgusting.
It's just,
you know,
Vince, innit? Yeah, but he's, if I'm right in thinking though, he's not owned it for a while. It's just Cody can't. He's like, this is like his fourth attempt to get the rights, and he's finally got the rights for it now.
Yeah, he's
like
got the rights.
Like, didn't he go for some WCW pay-per-view all names that Vince doesn't have anymore because he let the trademark expire? But Cody still couldn't get them.
Yeah,
So
it's the same with the.
There must be a lot of bollocks.
It's the same with the Horseman shit. WWE don't own the rights to the Horseman name, but they own the rights to a lot of, well, the majority of the Horseman material. Yeah, so
It's a tricky one, the old copyright thing, isn't it?
You know, okay, you know, the likes of AEW can go and get the Horseman name, but you know, what is the point in having a name without owning everything to do with it?
Any history or anything like that. Yeah,
you've got the two members of who were the Brainbusters, you know, in Arn and Tully, and you can't show their fucking.
Yeah, you can't show anything. You can't, because
No.
Vince owns every little bit of it. The only thing you could probably show would be some indie territory from fucking 1970s or something on some shady footage.
And believe me, fucking people, you know, we're not personal friends of Vince McMahon. Actually, we're probably a bit of a mix of hate, love and hate.
I love Vince. I fucking adore him.
You know, and I look at it and I think Vince McMahon would openly say to fucking anyone that wanted the rights, they'll die with me.
Oh, aye. 100%. He's a
They'll
cunt.
die. In fact, I would go as far as saying he would go out of his way to write a private will that Four Horsemen material dies with Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Yeah. You bury the videos in my grave with me. 100%. So, another name. So, let's throw a woman onto the potential list. So far, have any of these suggested names taken away our four? No. Sensational Sherry.
Ooh. You know what? Again, I'm going to revert back to Dark Side of the Ring. Okay? and it was basically Elizabeth related. Greatest pioneer, bollocks, Sherry.
Absolutely.
I gotta say it, man. Elizabeth for me, right? For a woman that did all these different things, kind of like what they say, reported and stuff like that. Why did she never really talk backstage? She was like a mute.
Yeah, because she was eye candy, weren't she? She was she was the diva of the 80s.
Yeah.
Where Sherry was
she was very much a mute.
I always look back at the 97, 98 run, 99 run of your divas, sort of, to an extent, like your Sables of the world, where they were there for the eye candy, but then you had like Luna Vachon, who she was there to get involved and get a bit down and dirty and get scrappy and stuff like that, and look like a right horrible bastard. And that's what Sensational Sherry did. Yeah, but that's what Sherry was a bit as well. In a later years, definitely. But yeah, she was always there where you knew she'd get involved in some bollocks. She wouldn't just stand there and look pretty at ringside.
Rick Martel's ex-wife, wasn't it?
Yeah, is that why she was Sherry Martel?
Yeah, I think it's Rick Martel's ex-wife. Yeah.
Could that be bollocks?
I don't know. I'm gonna have a look.
Because Rick Martel's real name's not Rick Martel.
Robert Shrew. Who was Robert Shrew?
I don't know, but Rick Martel's real name is Richard Venno.
There you go, people. Sherry Martel was not married to Rick Martel. What would they call her, Rick Martel? Why would they call her that?
Because
It's a fucking surprise, dude. She was trained by Fabulous Muller.
oh, for fuck's sake, she was pimped. She was pimped out by Muller.
Pimped by Muller. Jesus Christ, we know the story with Muller now. I take 25% of everything you fucking.
Do you know the thing is though, right? Do you know if like all that wouldn't have come out, Fabulous Muller would probably be in with a shout. I think Fabulous Muller's in the Chris Benoit category. Because she was an iconic women's wrestler back in the early fucking days of our granddads. Iconic.
It's great when you listen to that, dude, that fucking Dark Side of the Ring.
Oh, it's a brilliant series.
Listen to everyone go off on it.
But they're already planning on filming season 3. I believe it was Eric Bischoff that's tweeted saying that he's been filming 2 pieces to camera for 2 separate episodes.
Well, there's I don't know what's happened to it now, but there was a biopic being made of Muller, and it's called Muller.
Oh, God. She was Fabulous. Muller was a full-on twat. Do you know what I mean? So, like I said, she falls into that Chris Benoit category where you can't. Well, look at WWE; they had to change the fucking name of the Battle Royal and stuff like that purely because.
Look at that lass that broke her neck, and Muller fucking basically walks in and goes, "You can go to Holland."
She just
didn't earn a shit ton of money.
She didn't give a fuck. As long as you made her money, Fabulous Muller didn't give a fuck. And I always remember when the first the stories broke, like you'd always heard them rumours like for back in the day, but then it the rumours got intensified a bit more, and a lot more women spoke out and stuff like that. Yeah, and
deleted.
She was she was a fucking monster. So moving on then, leaving that cunt behind. Another name. So one of the comments on the group, it was someone that must be a fan of more old school wrestling, and one of the names that jumped out on me, Barry Windham.
Oh my God, the man's a god. I loved Windham, dude.
Because massive wrestling family. Barry Windham's had an impact in WWF to an extent.
Yeah, Kevin Ramsey, that was. Kevin Ramsey.
Yeah.
Magnum TA.
Yeah.
Ronnie Garvin, Kerry Von Erich. Do you know what? I wouldn't argue with any of them. Magnum TA is one of them that flies under the radar constantly.
Well, he had to retire really young, didn't he, Magnum TA? If I'm right. Yeah. Some form of injury. But yeah, some great shouts there. Texas Tornado. Like, very, very short career in the WWE because the whole family's sad. It's like, we were on about this the other night, weren't we?
You were born with that name. You were scared for your life.
Do
you know what? It sounds horrible saying that, but when I was watching it, dude, again on Dark Side of the Ring, if you ain't seen this, people, which I expect all wrestling fans have, fuck me, it's an eye opener. It will leave you teared. It will leave you with so much of a different perception on people. You know, icons, should you say? Yeah, but
I think, like, do you know what always got me with the Von Erichs? Like, you had Lacey went on to try and have a career in Impact. Didn't the boys? Isn't one of them got two lads that have gone on? I think it's the only remaining surviving.
The last one.
Yeah,
Kevin.
Yeah, so Kevin's lads are wrestling, aren't they? And they're using the Von Erich name. It's like, that's a curse. I wouldn't want to, like, yeah, you want to follow in the family's footsteps and that, but I don't know. I just think there's too much. When someone says Von Erich, when someone says Von Erich to me, I don't instantly think of amazing wrestlers in the NWA and all that in the territory years. I think of sadness and just a horrible family. It's the worst wrestling tragedy.
The dad Fritz, that's gimmick was fucking his original gimmick was that of a Nazi.
Yeah.
And you're looking at shit like already as you know that they were a family. They were based in the deep South Carolina territories, and you're watching it and you're going, fucking hell, is everyone from South Carolina, fucking North Carolina and that are fucking racist? You know, this is as people don't fucking hate me, I say it how it is.
That's it. That's
it. Very much like Jim Cornette, you know.
Just bigger pythons.
Fuck, dude. How the fucking hell are you supposed to get through life? You know, how the hell are you supposed to want to progress in the business, being from the Carolina territories, donning a freaking Nazi gimmick? Vince McMahon's looking at that going, well, maybe we can do something. Never in a million years, man. And literally, when you look at that family and you just go, suicide. Every son committed suicide.
Well, no, one of them died of illness, didn't he? One of the first one. The first one didn't he get an injury and he died? He died from the back of it, or I think it was very mysterious circumstances because wasn't he fighting in Japan or something like that, and he died over there, and it was just they couldn't work out, like he just dropped dead sort of thing, and then one of them commits suicide because he couldn't cope with the death of his brother, and then Kerry with his stuff, and it's just so sad. And then the young one died. Really, didn't he take his life because he could never emulate his brothers because he wasn't big. He wasn't big enough and stuff like that. Yeah, oh mate, it's fucking sad. Anyway, let's get back a bit happier, right? One final suggestion I'll pick from the Facebook comments to try and knock off the four that we've chosen. The Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Gotta be in with a shout. And the person that I think
to be the man, you've gotta beat the man.
So the four that we agreed on, who would you remove if you were to add Ric Flair? Regal?
Oh no! You got Regal, Austin,
Angle and Owen. You got to take Owen out, haven't you? It's a toss-up between Owen and Regal. I think Regal's in there because what he's done for English wrestlers.
You've got one there, and I've got one as well.
I think Owen has to go. Oh, and take fucking hell! How did we not think about Undertaker?
And you got Taker, dude. Taker.
So what?
You know, there's gonna be a lot of questions asked of these people when they go, "How could you go Taker? How did none of you have Taker?" Well, we didn't have Taker because, in a way, we're driven in different ways, and this is the sad aspect of wrestling, and this is why we both wanted to extend the Mount Rushmore. So I don't know. Maybe we may have to kind of like get the scaffolding up and get the fucking builders.
Get the builders in.
And
no, I think we've got to we've got to stick to the rules, right? So for me, Undertaker and Ric Flair both deserve to be on there because I think we've gone very personal with Regal and Owen. I think that's very personal. I think from a wider spectrum of the whole wrestling world trying to take a step back, I think you'd
we would never be agreed with if Owen and Regal went away. You know that, don't you? Any chance we've got a Patreon this show and getting somewhere with this show would just go. it would be gone. People would go, these guys are fucking lost it, man. These guys know jack shit about wrestling. I'm not listening to that shit again.
Yeah, but the thing, right? So, right. So Flair's Flair, record champion. Depending which lineage you follow, it's anywhere from like 17 to about 25.
26.
Yeah. Iconic in every.
Vince doesn't recognise.
Nah, of course you don't. Iconic in every era that I grew up in. Ric Flair was a staple part of TV in every era that I grew up in the 80s, from WCW back to WWF, back to WCW. These runners his run of
biggest faction.
Yeah, his run of part of the, like you said, one of two of the biggest factions with Evolution and the Horsemen. His run with Vince as co-owner was hilarious. His stuff with the Divas. And that's before mentioning any of his matches. Even as
I and the consortium. Me and you are partners, buddy.
And then the fucking arm around the shoulder and that.
The famous rubbing of the ears.
Fucking brilliant. But that, and I said that's before we even mentioned any of his matches. Even in his later years, he's had some brilliant matches. Even in TNA, he had some decent matches. So yeah, I think Ric Flair's got to be in there. Got to be.
The guy was a professional.
And The Undertaker, there is no other guy in the history of wrestling that's been able to recreate his character time and time again to fit in with the crowds, stay relevant. Don't get me wrong, the streak helped massively in the later years to bring him back, because if you didn't have a streak and you were just bringing him back, what are you bringing him back for? What's point? But he had a reason to constantly keep coming back. After he got to, was it the one with Hunter, I believe, where him, Michaels and Hunter, they all celebrated. That was like the last run of him showing up a lot more than he does now.
That was number 2, wasn't it?
Yeah. Because now, obviously, from then up to him sort of retiring, he was literally once a year until Saudi Arabia's money came calling.
I believed it was then. I believe that guy has wanted to retire so many times.
Oh, yeah.
I really do believe
money
that,
talks.
you know, but Vince just keeps pulling him back in.
Money talks.
Is it Vince? Is it Vince?
No.
Or is it Taker?
I think it's a bit of both. I think Vince knows that Taker's always got the fucking, wants that edge for it. He always wants a piece. Do you know what I mean? He'll always be dangling with that, waiting for that character dangle. And all Vince has to do is just drop it and say, here's another £1 million, half-hour appearance, Undertaker trains for 6 months, makes £1 million. We don't see him again for 6 months to a year. It's a brilliant, what a fucking great way to live. But the thing that I always say with The Undertaker, and this is going to be a very controversial topic, he was never the man. Mm-hmm. He was never even close. Never even close to being the man. In every era, in the 80s, it was Hogan, it was Warrior, Savage. The 90s, it was Bret, it was Michaels. The later 90s, Austin, Rock, Hunter. And then moving on, Brock Lesnar, Eddie Guerrero, Kurt Angle. He was never
the man. Did he need to be the man?
No, well, that's it. I think that's the thing.
You know what I mean? We've had this discussion, right? And I love these discussions. Because you get to the point where you just go, you know, like the WWE title, WWF title, whatever it was, World Heavyweight title, and you go, one of the biggest guys never to win the big one. Did he need to win the big one?
That's it.
Did he need it? You know what I mean? Did Razor Ramon, Scott Hall need to win the big one?
Yeah, but you can say the same about Roddy Piper, Mr. Perfect. Yeah, the list goes on. The list goes on.
Their name is synonymous with wrestling.
Absolutely, but is it synonymous enough to be classed as one of the four?
It's weird when you talk about Taker, right? You talk Taker and you go, should Taker have won more titles than he ever did?
Quite possibly, yes.
And I go, yes.
Definitely.
Every single time. And we're going to go back, flash back to one name. John Cena. If John Cena can win this many titles, right? Taker can.
And what's Taker on? 7 or something like that?
6, 7.
Yeah, something like that.
You know, and I'm kind of like, fucking hell, if you're going to base it on given, Taker has given more to the business than possibly, other than Ric Flair, anyone else. I mean, when you talk to a guy being the guy backstage, when you hear people talk about an arm round me, Taker came over and it meant the world. He's like the Godfather. He's like fucking, do you know what I mean? The Don. Backstage. Vince has got his office, and then Taker's office is sitting in the corner, you know, in a dressing room. And if that man looks up at you and fucking gives you the nod like he gave John Cena all them years ago, you've done right by the business. You know, the famous Montreal screw job, Taker losing it backstage and kicking a bin across the side and going straight to Vince. Taker weren't about fucking disrespect, man. You didn't disrespect something that had given him a lot, you know? And that's how a lot of people in the wrestling business work, don't they?
Oh, absolutely.
You know, Jim Cornette being one of them. So,
yeah.
It's fucking tough, dude, because 2 people have got to go and 2 people have got to go back up.
Well,
you know, and that's why I said this Mount Rushmore will Dynamite's kept aside to blow faces off.
Well, I think we can safely say that Austin's a definite, Angle's a definite.
Taker's up there, dude.
Taker's up there, and it's got to be Flair.
He has to be. Yeah.
They've got to be 4.
Place Regal and Owen.
Yeah, because that's a purely personal.
It is, you know what I mean? You pick your personal ones, you're never going to take my fucking personal ones again.
No, I think there you go. He's taken us best part of an hour. We've swapped and changed. So it's like the X Factor with the fucking seven seats. You've got a seat. No, come away.
Can we make a boy band or a girl band out of all them we've taken out? Of course we can. You know, we're gonna have William Regal, Owen Hart, The Rock, and Eddie Guerrero. As a boy band.
And we'll call them No Direction.
No Direction. That's ace.
Well, so I think on that note, we will leave things there. Dave, let everybody know, as always, where they can find us on social media, on all the lovely places like the Facebooks.
I changed the Twitter handle.
Yay. I know, I see. As I seen, I was very happy.
Yeah, you fucking see.
Now it makes sense.
Now it does make sense. And nothing makes sense when it comes to Double D.
No.
It just don't. Like Double D, we are a pair of tits.
That is it.
But this people is a podcast where we believe in straight up opinions. We don't hide behind things. We say it how it is, and we take the comments as they come. And as far as comments go, people, I'm telling you, you people need. I hate going into a posting, right? I hate looking on Facebook and seeing X amount of people have seen it, but you're not interacting with it. Interact with it.
It makes him very angry if you've not realised.
It fucking does. It winds me up. You know, I will not become a statistic like something else. I won't. Yeah, so you can follow us on Twitter, people.
And you best fucking interact.
Yeah, and you best fucking interact. And you can follow us.
We don't want you to follow us.
Oh yeah, you don't bother. you can follow us at Maximum WW Order on Twitter. You can find us on the elusive trolling fucking social media site Facebook at Max Wrestling World Order and Max Wrestling World Order Podcast. You know, show us some love, people. Share, bring in your friends. Converse.
As long as your friends get involved, or then don't bring your friends at all.
Or they'll just be removed. And... Well, listen, right? Listen, there are no rules in this group. There are 0 rules except for one: interact.
I'm correct.
And, no, listen, we appreciate. Yesterday I messaged Dave and I say to Dave, dude, we're on 94, was it 94 or 95?
Something along the lines. Something like
that. 2 weeks ago, we had like less than 10. People may laugh at that, but believe me, people, compared to where we both have come from, Dave's got our era, big numbers, right? But compared to where we have come from, we're making moves. We're making moves. Trust me. I believe in this, and I want you to believe in it. This isn't just a WWE podcast. This is going to be an intimate podcast where we talk about the intimate moments in wrestling.
Hello. Up next, the review of Lita and Edge's live sex raw.
There we go. That's worth watching. It's classic. It's a classic. And that is it. That is it in a nutshell.
That is it in a nutshell.
It will be.
That is
this will work. Right. Well, he's Dave, and I'm Dave, and this is Maximum Wrestling World Order.
Goodbye for now.
Goodbye for now, and you better converse.
Or you're out.
Goodbye. Or you're out.